to start recording here. This is basically my biggest mistakes and how to prevent them. Okay? Now I think I've got this all down, but we'll find out. All right, number one, glass heaters. People do not get glass heaters. They fail. Okay? As you can plainly see, right here, um, in that area, yeah, they fail. Um, Now, I'm not saying ceramic ones don't fail, okay? I've never had one fail before. Um, my worst experience was the upstairs tank in the 29 gallon. I had no idea this happened, okay? The glass heater I had in there cracked in half and laid in there for about a month. So the fish were never even heated, and because I didn't pay enough attention to it. Um, then I removed the glass. I was shocked. Well, I was surprised nobody got shocked. Um, but anyway, it gets you Aquarian Pros. Um, was it Jagger something or another? Jaggers or whatever. But anyway, on the right hand side, you'll see over here, make sure that your heater is equipped for your room. Okay. And as you can see over here, I believe that's an Aquarion Pro dealio there. If your standard room temperature is 68 to 72, if you want to increase, like, temperature by 15 degrees, maybe you got discus or, really warm water fish, then, depending on the gallons that you got, that's what you want to do. Um, but I really, really enjoy uh, Aquarion Pros. Never had a problem with them. And again, I'm sure there's plenty of others out there. They're not cheap. What are they? 30, 25, 30, $35, a heater. But man, do they work. Okay. So let's go with them, not glass. Yeah, you can get glass all day long anywhere you want to if you want to pay 10 bucks, but you get what you pay for, and man, I'm telling you, been there, done it. You're gonna fry some fish, okay? All right, forgetting wild water while filling water. Yeah, and you can see the floods here. Um, in the upper right, you see the tubing. That's typically what I use. I use a pond pump. And you get the pond pumps. I got a couple videos on there. Check it out. Basically from Lowe's or Home Depot. As long as you got a place to drain it into. But man, have I forgotten. Okay, every once in a while, it's not too hard to forget that you're unfilling. It's a lot more difficult to forget that you are filling, especially if you're doing an automatic pond pump. Um, yada yada yada. All right, not cycling the right way. I learned this a long time ago. If any of you people are new on my channel or new in the fish hobby, please look at this slide, okay? If you're adding too many fish too soon or not cycling at all, then they are going to die. It's that simple. And this really doesn't tell how to do it. I do have videos on there. I like to cycle with ammonia, or in my very starter tanks, the ones I started with. Um, that's what I did. Now you'll see coming up. Now I don't do that as much because I keep multiple media in multiple tanks. That way, I can almost instant start a cycle. Well, basically, I can instant start a cycle. So we'll get to there. But this explains everything. It doesn't tell me how to cycle, Scott. I know it doesn't. Okay, hang in there, people. Hang in there. What you're gonna have to do is look at other people's videos. I like to do pure ammonia from Ace Hardware with no sulfigates in it. If you're starting your first tank or two, I really do not recommend throwing a bunch of fish in there, like, Danios or Guppies or whatever, and trying to cycle that way. Not my bag, baby, but you do you. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. All right. You never, ever, ever, and see, now we're coming back to it, change filter or media. No. What you do, as you can see in this screen here, the guy, this is not my screen, but he's got two different filters going. Well, that's way overkill for the load he has in there. Okay? Now, what he could easily do is move one of those filters into a brand new tank with brand new water. Obviously, you want to make sure it's, been dechlorinated in the whole freaking 9 yards. And basically you start a instant cycle. Um, but if any of you guys are newer here, some of you might be, some of you might not be, never ever rinse your media, like if you're cleaning a filter, whether it be sponge, a hang on the back, whatever, never do it in brand new water. Do it in fish water. I'm talking about the fish water you drained out because, my goodness, you'll kill your cycle quicker than Clint Eastwood could shoot 8 people in the eye. Okay? We don't want to do that. Okay? Now, another thing, if you want to, if you don't have like two sponge filters, then do pantyhose with media in there, whether it's like the little clumpy stuff or whatever, or floss media. Just keep them in a different tank, or stuff extra floss media in the back of a hang on the back. Um, what you're trying to do is get the bacteria to build up on the media that you have, transfer that into a new tank, and you can pretty much instant cycle. Let's keep going, people. Not having live plants was my biggest mistake for a long time. Man, I'm going to tell you all straight up front. Nitrates, okay? What is it? Ammonia, nitrates. Um, Nitrates is the very end all. That's the one that, you have to change your water out to get them out of the system, okay? Any of y'all that are still confused on that, if you're new, look 2 slides before that and save that to your mind. But that's how it works. Um, Hornwort is probably the greatest plant, period, honestly, because it grows fast. It's great. Java moss grows very slow. Java fern, very slow. Guppy grass is cool, but it breaks apart a lot. Matter of fact, there's a hornwort there and Java moss, but Java moss takes forever. But anyway, live plants, not plastic, people. All right, come on, get with the times. It just really helps you doing less water changes and less maintenance because they're absorbing the crap that the fish, poop out, if you will. It turns into ammonia and nitrites. All right, now here's the biggest buster right here. Not using prime. I'm a huge believer in prime. Why? Well, simply because it removes chlorine and chloramines. Okay? The main difference in ammonia, um, I really hate to add that in there, but depending on where you live at, some tap water is chlorine, some is chloramines. You could use Tetrasave and all these others, they might not remove both, okay? You're gonna have a bad time, okay? Uh, Seriously, if you don't know what your water system has, um, I don't like the fact that it detoxifies ammonia, detoxifies nitrate and nitrite. Okay? I hate that. I've done several videos on there. I'll get some booze on it. It detoxifies them. What it means, it makes them innate, which means that they are rendered useless, but only for about 24 to 48 hours. It's a complete band-aid on those type of things. It is not a solution. You've got to figure out your primary problem. And I don't care what people say. Man, I've used it once and never had to use it again. Crap. No, no, no. If you don't take care of your water problem, I don't know, unless you're going to use Prime every 2 days, you know, and waste all that money because that stuff is not cheap. Power to you, whatever. But anyway, the chlorine and chloramines, that is the biggest advantage. It's the only one I know of that takes care of both at the same time and renders them useless. In other words, once you treat the chemical in your water, they're done. You don't have to worry about them. It doesn't, un, unlike the ammonia and the nitrates, which will come back and it'll still show up on a test and all that. Anyway, I'm not getting into this again. Okay, so that's my hands down thing. I sell it, whatever. All right, water changes. Well, I'm not even going to get into all this. Y'all can read it. You all know water changes are one of the most primary things that you need to do to keep your fish happy, healthy, safe. I'm not even going to get into it. Um, I will just say a rule of thumb, and man, I'm not always good on this, okay? Because maybe there are some keepers out there that have never done a water change. I won't mention their names. You can look them up. And these are big time people, but they have a ton of plants, and they probably have a, a sprinkler system involved. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit more to it than I never ever have to do a water change. Um, you take it for what it's worth, and there are a lot of people that do that. My rule of thumb is if you are new, okay, and especially if you've cycled, man, don't even attempt not having water changes unless you've got at least a year under your belt and know what you're doing and know what your plants are doing, and you've measured your nitrates and nitrites and ammonia, and after a while you'll know what you can get by with, what you can't get by with. Okay. um and go from there. I say as a rule of thumb, only handle enough tanks that you can do at least 2 water changes per week for at least about 25%. Okay, maybe 10% is good. 50% is better. Some people say 50% is way too much because you throw off things. You do you, and you learn how it works for you. You'll know if you're not doing enough when your fish start dying, right? Okay? That's a horrible thing to have to happen, but at some point you're going to have to learn along the way. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there. I just think that's a good rule of thumb. I know that my tanks, personally, because most of them are 2 years old plus with plenty of plants, um, I can generally get by with one water change about every 2 weeks, about 20% maybe. Yeah, there. If there. Would it be better if I did more? Yes. I'd probably prevent more problems like bit spines and other things. But a lot of that's more genetics than water, but water can lead to that. So, anywho, let's go from there. We're about done. Incompatible fish. Man, please, people, don't keep goldfish and guppies together. They're not compatible. They have different water parameters, different water temperatures. It's just not going to work. Um, One of the first mistakes I ever learned, I didn't know bumblebee gobies. When I got my first fish tank in 2010, I think, when I decided to start doing it, I didn't know. I mixed everything in the blue, and they had bumblebee gobies. I thought they were awesome looking. I didn't realize that they were more brackish than salt, but they sold them in the freshwater section. So I threw them in there: neon tetras, guppies, sores, danios, velbeta. Of course, he ate some crap. Um, Corys, and all this other stuff. Um, just research a tank, all right? You know, just you do you. And in this day and age, the internet, man, is today, oh, nowhere close to what it was years ago. Matter of fact, years ago, you were lucky to even find the simplest of a website. And now you can research crap all day long on everything. And I didn't know, you know? So just double check it all out. Matter of fact, my newest book that I bought about live bears, I didn't know Gouliads. Um, I didn't know that they were very aggressive. They can really only live towards their own type as a live bear. They can't really live towards anything else because they like to be live fed, and they're going to eat everything in the tank. So, if I was going to stretch out to one of those types, well, we'd have issues. But anyway, live and learn, googly moogly, as we always say here. And thanks a lot for watching, and we go from there. But that's my biggest mistakes, and I'm sure there's more. All right, thanks a lot. Laters.